Hello, are you watching the Top 5 channel? Suddenly a video dedicated to us again strange animals, and all because there are simply unrealistically many unusual creatures, and don't even talk about them, how much it won't cover half of it, but it's necessary strive because fascinating. This is the outskirts of the Sahara Desert in Morocco, and in 2008, an amazing view was discovered here. A large spider, which is extremely unusual, moves, namely somersaults. Science, there was already a similar spider before which I once told you about, the one who presses his paws to roll down the dunes, but with Moroccan like a spider, otherwise it can't roll down the slope, and exactly the opposite up unique way of moving before was unknown to science. But why would a spider need this? Necessary. The whole point is that he is so moves twice as fast as if ran on his 8 legs, and this a big advantage in the desert. This spider can become an easy victim of large and fast predators such as the fey fox or road wasps, because when they appear the dangers of these amazing arachnids go into rolling mode and run away double speed brilliantly in front of you. Extremely unusual armored insects, terrestrial grasshoppers. From everyone else grasshoppers in the world, they differ in that eat animal meat from these huge insects, insatiable thirst for flesh, and behold, they have their eye on the birds' nests. Krasnokleokinsky chick monsters begin to climb up tree. These hungry giant insects quickly find their way to food. It seems like days. These chicks are considered a terrible predator climbs into their house. It seems that they are already nothing will save today. They are the main thing dish. But suddenly the parent returns home. He throws the grasshopper away chicks and begins to attack him from all sides, but this insect has a trump card. It's up his sleeve. I'll jump out blood hemolympho. It's confusing Tika Chica with sense, but nevertheless to him, the grasshopper manages to throw it off the nest, flies a few meters down, and then the real drama begins, with a dash of ominous irony. Grasshopper, after falling, still alive. But the smell of his blood attracts the attention of other grasshoppers. His hungry brothers are now the target. He himself turns these grasshoppers into cannibals. They pounce and live, eat their own. Unlucky. Agree. Good look video about wildlife. When you have everything in life is wonderful, great job, good financial prosperity, and a promising future, and that's it. It's different when you're barely making ends meet. With ends nothing pleases, and eternal apathy seems to many to be fixed impossible because they won't be accepted. Well-paid job without higher education, but I assure you it is deep delusion today. In just 1 year training in some professions is possible. Start earning from 120,000 rubles per month. We are, of course, talking about the IT sector. There is a constant shortage of personnel, and high salaries are one of the most in-demand professions in it. This is data science. Then there is data analysis and processing, including everything related to neural networks and artificial intelligence. Such specialists are needed in all areas, from agriculture and livestock farming to IT and astronautics. For such technologies, the future. Just see for yourself how many vacancies and what salaries. Neural network specialists today at snapped up. So the trick is that you can become such a specialist without jokes. And if you want to change your unloved one, work for the profession of the future that brings in satisfaction and high pay, I recommend the data science course from Skill. They will teach factory at the annual course, master programming in Python, create artificial intelligence, train neural networks to analyze data, to build predictive models. For employers are very ready for such skills. Pay well, that is. For just a year you made by specialists to be snapped up. Don't believe it? I'd rather read the reviews about this online school in Google and on various no matter the sites to make sure of Skill Factory. Your teachers will be specialists from companies such as Yandex, Nvidia, and Iora. Have a very convenient format. You can learn at your own pace. Adjust the load and time. Freeze the course if you want. For example, can relax and master this profession. Any of you, regardless what is your education and who are you working right now. Go to link in the description and leave a request for training it. If you sign up soon, time will work for you. Maximum discount 45% with promo code TOPFKIT training, and maybe someday your project will be included in our story about new incredible technology. Look at this picture. Fallen leaves litter the seabed. Only if you look closely you can understand that these are not leaves at all, these are animal fish sheets, that they even disguise themselves as leaves, sway from side to side along with the current cunningly. And there are crabs who thought of carrying on themselves and algae as camouflage special forces, not otherwise, but some crabs decided that it was more practical to not carry camouflage, a heavy and spiky armor. The crabs are literally dragged by the porters, sea urchins, to provide protection with sharp spines. The crab has special butts, legs, thanks to which he lifts and holds back his prickly bodyguard. Brilliant. Further, we have something more. It's strange. What if I tell you that there is an insect that walks under? Biologists have discovered that water is upside down. These small creatures just recently move along the surface, film reservoirs from below like on the ceiling. Scientists, they believe that it is possible to stay on the ceiling of water. They are helped by an air bubble that managed to see it unfolded up abdomen. He presses the insect to surface film, allowing push off from it with your paws. Still, for small creatures, the surface of the water is far away, not as permeable as for us. But what a way to move on water, invented by the jacana, a bird nicknamed running for lilies. She uses floating one's leaves as a path to go to the center pond and find various insects there. Icona is also called the bird of Jesus. It's like she walks on water. But how does she do it? Succeeds. The secret is in the huge fingers, thanks to which she distributes her weight based on floating leaves. Really look at the absurd length of her fingers. These are probably the biggest fingers among birds by size ratio. Birds, the laws of physics work for her. Transported to Africa. Here you can find there are a lot of strange animals. Gaboon viper. She can boast the longest poisonous teeth among of all snakes. And she is also one of the most. The slowest snakes in the world are the heaviest and a large viper, and it crawls unrealistically slowly, but even a lazy snake needs to eat. And besides, Tolstoy, how can she do it? To hunt. She simply remains inert and waiting unnoticed until someone appears nearby, something like a rat. This snake releases more poison than any other and does not waste it in vain. Its poison is hemotoxic, and it immediately begins tissue decomposition. Rats. The snake doesn't even have to work over digestion of food. In general, the slowness of snakes is not a particular problem. It happens that many of them have various tricks that compensate lack of speed. For example, the snake in Namibian desert, hiding under the sand, leaving the tip of your tail outside as bait for various living creatures. For example, a lizard noticed him. She thinks that now I'm going to have a delicious lunch. But I almost had lunch with it. While walking in the forest around the island's Pacific Ocean, you can run into here such a wonderful picture from which you can easily snatch a heart attack in front of you. Palm thief is the largest in the world hermit crab. It inhabits all southern Pacific islands. Palm thieves so strong that they don't hide in sinks. Yes, and where to get a sink under the size of these arthropods is island giants. Adults have a bluish color and can reach 1 metric ton long. Just imagine meter crayfish really this size. They reach in the 40th year of life, and maximum lifespan is up to 60 years. It's crazy. If there are coconuts on the island, then palm thieves are always somewhere nearby. Their claws are so powerful that they can down the coconut shell. If that's the case, will crack when dropped. Look how they can easily bend metal. Cover. Another amazing arthropods with an unusual appearance. Are they beckoning crabs or fiddler crabs? Attract the attention of females using a disproportionately huge claw, like they're calling you over, like, hey, come here. That's why they are called luring crabs. Females clearly have someone to choose from. She doesn't in a hurry. The males unite in sensual synchronized dance. At last the female makes a choice, and together with the male retreats to Nara to mate. If want to see real aliens animals, then go to the bottom of the ocean. Here, wherever you spit, you will end up an extreme strange creature. There is a lot new for science. Here is dominated by echinoderms, holothurians, brittle stars, and sea urchins. Without exaggeration, there are millions of them cruising along the bottom ocean in search of any edible particles, which may be muddy sediment. They have the most breathtaking forms that even in your worst nightmare you won't see. Although these animals are dispersed across to the vast ocean floor, they are among the most numerous on the planet. Their thorns are good for movement and protection, but not really comfortable. When they approach a partner, searching for a partner on such a large scale, space could be a problem. That's why some hedgehogs stay in the colony to be close to potential. Your partner is a starfish. The buffet is actually her called the sunflower star, but some animals still use it as buffet. Now you'll understand everything. Actually a dangerous predator with 24 legs and 15,000 tubes instead of feet is echinoderms, the size of a garbage lid. Baka chases prey at speed a little more than a meter per minute. But that's all changes when appears on the horizon this Kamchatka rat. He attacks starfish and tears one off for it, or 2 legs, which he will eat after which leaves, releasing the starfish. As he does so she'll be fine without her problems from growing a lost limb, and will live on, but the fact is that animals can easily tear away from it part, and letting it live further turns her into a real living and walking Swedish table. Smaller creatures run away. This comb seems to have escaped from the Star Disney cartoon, and now he's running from predator. Just look at him. It's hard to believe that such a creature lives in the real world. Generally on the seabed there's such a crazy thing going on that it's crazy. Don't imagine this Batiptera supporting yourself on 2 specially adapted fins raised. It can be without moves for hours. She has small eyes, which fish see practically nothing. Fins lying in ambush behind the head are very sensitive to the slightest movements of water on the ocean floor. You can still meet these strange ones, fish that swim. This is lepidopterology. We get out onto land in front of you. Crazy caterpillar in the world. Caterpillar in a hat made of head she stuck on herself. Head extra heads in order to protect it. Nicknamed the Mad Hatter. As they say, 1 head is good, but 2 are already ugly. There are up to 5 of them here. This type found everywhere in Australia, known with his strange jewelry. Usually caterpillars eat shed skin to replenish nutrients, but the Mad Hatter does it differently. Eats old heads and glues them to new head, like some kind of unicorn. When the caterpillar is attacked by a predator, fights back waving a tower of heads, sometimes trying to keep the enemy away. Predators attack the tower of heads instead of a real caterpillar body, what often gives the last chance to escape and escape from death by a caterpillar wearing hats survive much more often than their counterparts without hats. And this hatched caterpillar Big Harpy is so small that she can go through the eye of the needle, but it is different, monstrous, gluttonous, and grows into 1,000 times its original size. In addition to her unusual appearance, there is also an unusual defense mechanism. Even from a person, it shoots out in a trickle formic acid, which may well help animals. Like marmosets love to eat all kinds of insects, including various caterpillars, but there is one, a caterpillar, that has learned to survive. To deceive them, she simply takes and begins to externally turn into a snake. Stunning example of mimicry ability. Convincingly imitate this caterpillar. A poisonous snake plunges a marmoset into flight, after which the caterpillar again becomes a caterpillar. To be honest, there are so many unusual caterpillars. What about them? You can safely make a separate large video, but I doubt that the video is from the name of the most unusual caterpillar will get a lot of views, because I'll try to come off here. For example, there are many types of slug coils, and they so named because of their very appearance. Not all of them have spectacular appearances known to science. They survive using different strategies. This and poisonous weapons, and disguise and imitation of thousands thorns cover the body of pink pincushions. The points located behind contain more thorns that she releases, like only trying to cross her path some kind of predator. And here's another one, snakehead caterpillar of just a different species. These eyes are fake while they are menacing. Look at the predator to intimidate it. This is the time when the caterpillar is quietly eating. Here is a Chinese dragon caterpillar with 6 horns, long horns located with on the outside and short in the center, forming the crown of this unusual creatures. But truly predators are afraid. Here she is, as she is surrounded by a cloud poisonous thorns. Each sharp thorn is polo needle connected to a venom gland, and God forbid someone picks her up too close. About these cunning handsome men I already told you once, but their hunting technique is still not Naboo. Look at this. Forever some caterpillars create for themselves some of the most intricate shelters in the animal world. Look, for example, a caterpillar lives here under these leaves. She made her hat out of leaves and owns silk. As she grows, adds leaves to his hat. It turns out to be a real walking house, and this the house will stay with her for the rest of her life. I even figured out a way to get rid of waste. The caterpillar pushes them out holding on thin threads of silk so that then throw them away as far as possible. Enough about caterpillars. Let's see what we have here. The shell moves on its own, but a snail definitely doesn't live in it. Or a bee from kind of osmia. She needs a safe place to raise offspring. For the mother it's easier for singles to make a house out of a sink then to build from scratch. After careful, she puts the chicks in the sink, exactly 1 egg, but there is a problem. The birth and growth of a bee will take a whole year and her mother will not be able to protect her for long. Therefore, the sink must somehow be protected from uninvited guests. And then the bee begins do something amazing, namely what do birds usually do? She takes various branches of grass that are 20 times larger than herself and uses them as you don't see building materials every day. Like a bee flies with a branch in its paws, like the bird works long and hard. After all, she will have to bring hundreds of all kinds twigs. Little by little shell turns into okay barricade. Now the egg will be in security, even despite the lack mothers nearby. Who would have thought that bees can build bird nests? Transported to the swamp of the Negev desert, and there are few living creatures here in Israel. Swamped places. Prey hunts. Predators are usually all small living things, and the lung is prey for amphibians. Beetle larvae are the same food for them. But it's just never about this. A young frog attacks a larva to eat it, but the larva eats it instead. Frog posing as a snack. Epimys larvae were able to reverse instincts frogs against them. They move very defiantly, attracting amphibians. Making circular movements of the frog with its antennae can't resist attacking and becoming. The larva uses the prey victim hooked mandibles to attach to the body. Sacrifices, and as soon as possible get hooked. She starts sucking out frogs or all juices. And what's the most amazing, before pupation, a ground beetle of the Epimys species is born circumscript. Scientists believe that they evolved by working a peculiar counterattack as protection against amphibians. Through for some time, they realized that amphibians, you could eat it, they liked it, and they eventually abandoned the other food in favor of amphibians. So they quickly stopped resisting attacks, and even on the contrary, they asked for them. And very good. Epimys beetles are the only one view of famous role reversals. Prey predator is a unique and extremely countries transported to South America, far away, the foggy jungle of Ecuador. Near at the foot of the ant, a strange sound breaks through the MCLU. This is the singing of a bird. You'll be surprised to hear how she makes that sound. This red caps, watch this carefully. The sound doesn't come from beak. This bird will create it with its wings. To all living nature there is nothing among birds like how does she manage to play. Scientists filmed the bird very quickly camera, and you can see how the wings vibrate unusually fast, 107 vibrations per second. It's called shooting or chirping. Is capable of such a trick. Crickets and grasshoppers, but among birds Mannequin is the only one who does this, and he does this, of course, to attract attention of females. The female sees that it is a male capable of vibrating like that with his wings. It means he is healthy and fit to continuation of the spring line. In the west, the coast of South Africa is the best time to this unusual fly. As long the proboscis reaches 5 SMT and more, evolved along with flowers for a long time, of which drinks nectar. First one became longer, and behind it came another, has grown into an amazing partnership between flowers and insects. But there are some of their own risks. All bets in the continuation race kind of made for one number. Therefore plants have developed a smart system to increase the success. Each flower gives to the fly just a tiny drop of nectar, because to get enough food, a fly constantly has to fly from plant to plant. The most pollinates flowers a day, but the fly is still, she's happy with it, because she doesn't have to sharing precious nectar with others insects in the area. These fluffy ones, creation of young shoots of Madagascar cicadas. They appear in the night in a swarm, ghosts, so that you get juice from the branches, and it looks like swings at each other. Having eaten, these creatures secrete a sugary residue known as medvina. It covers branches and leaves, attracting insects. And this mouse lemur is the smallest primate on earth, who is greedy, licks the honeydew secreted young cicada. And this is a strange creature, looks like it came out of a horror movie. Aplysia viacuria, also known as black sea hare, is almost the most large Species of sea slug grow to very large sizes. The longest registered sample had the size is a meter, but it doesn't seem offensive because he only eats algae. Aliens from another planet in 2018 on Hainan Island pulled ashore large fishing trawler repair. And here are the cuties that ended up on him. The bottom of these creatures hung on their legs, and it flexed intimidatingly. Conchotomy of the larvae, they swim in the thick water, must attach to something substrate where they grow on legs. In an adult is often used as a substrate. They choose something slowly floating attached to shell whales and the bottoms of ships. Such a way of life helps them settle down and not stay too long in one place. Despite the disgusting appearance, some Asians even eat them. I want more. Show you Jibo Navs about them indirectly, already discussed in previous videos, but these primates deserve better. You just look how they can jump tree to tree just like in cartoons. Incredible stunt performers looking for fruit. They fly through trees at a speed of 55 kilometers hf1 with a jump. They cover 12 m. But you know, everything here is like in the sapper profession. One mistake to die, and Gibbon periodically make mistakes by falling down and breaking from the fall. They die much more often than from predators. Maximum in the wild, they live up to 25 years. And in captivity up to in the Kalahari Desert, you can often watch such a picture of huge stacks hay on various poles and trees. And this is someone's joke. These are the biggest in the world, has multi-apartment nests, and they build them. These little birds are social weavers, selecting pillars and trees with minimum crown for construction nests is due to the fact that it's more difficult will be attacked by predators inside the nest. Many compartments with 2 people in each. Male and female birds throughout the nest can accommodate up to 500 individuals. This is a western male, and now he is cleaning up his area every morning. He carefully cleans his yard from branches and leaves of the attackers. Night is extremely important if he wants interest a female, because females of this species fly exclusively to a clean house. One filled up can bring it down. The chances are 0. And this is what they look like. Territory after cleaning it brings the fruits. The female noticed and flew and take a closer look at him now.